Yo, what's poppin'? Welcome to Bhroman Braapsody. This is where we review cars and motorcycles. I'm the host for motorcycles and the punk does the cars. Today is our 50th episode. So we've reviewed 50 cars and motorcycles. This has been really awesome. It's been a heck of a ride. Thank you guys, all of our viewers and subscribers. You guys made this possible. Thanks to Monty Hendricks and Indian Motorcycle of Greensboro. Thanks to the Professor Gennaro and Motorcycles of Greensboro, and to everybody who's helped me come along in this journey. This wouldn't have been possible without the help, love, and support of all of you guys. And for our 50th episode, it's the 2021 Ducati Panigale V2. In today's episode, we're gonna talk about the bike, see some of its cool features. I'll take it out on the road, share my thoughts with you guys, talk about the cost of ownership, and assign it a Bhromance score. But before we do any of that, if you're new to Bhroman, please hit that like and click that subscribe button. We put out content every week, and your support would mean a lot. It's me, it's your boy Bro, and I am your Bhroman. So this is the 2021 Ducati Panigale V2 that I just bought from the Professor and Motorcycles of Greensboro. Special shout out to them. What is the Panigale V2? Well, the Panigale V2 is the V4's little sister. And Ducati has been doing this, like they have one of their super bikes, and then they'll have a little sister of that super bike. It started off with the 916 and the 748. Then there was a 749, 848, 899, 959, and the latest one is the V2. It still packs a punch. It has a 955cc Ducati V-twin, or the L-twin, you might argue. And this is the last sports bike that Ducati has on its roster that still has the Ducati twin. Most of its sports bikes have gone away from the twin and towards the V4. So you have the V4, the V4S, the V4R, the Street Fighter V4, even the Multistrada is now a V4. And this bike puts out 155 horses, 77 foot-pound of torque. It has a 56.5-inch wheelbase, 33-inch seat height, weighs 440 pounds. It has a whole suite of rider aids and electronics that you want. Actually, the rider aids and the electronics have come from the first generation V4. It also gets the fairing and the bodywork from the V4. It's just a little narrower and you don't see those winglets on it. The V2 built upon the 959. And the one thing they brought back with the V2 is the single-sided swing arm, so you can see that beautiful wheel. That's a Ducati signature, if you ask me. So why Panigale, right? So Panigale is paying homage to the little manufacturing town of Panigale. And all of the Panigales also have a monocoque frame with the engine being a stretched member. So the Panigale V2 comes in two colors. Of course, you have the Ducati red, and the second color is what they call the white Rosso livery. This is it. And the cool part about this is you get red wheels. There's a good contrast with the red wheels, the white paint, and they have like little red inserts throughout the bike. Ducati claims this can do 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. Now, I'm coming from a 2008 Yamaha R1. The one thing I've noticed is it does not quite have that straight line speed or the straight line pizzazz of a R1, the top end speed, the top end power of a R1 or any liter bike as such. But this bike really shines when you're throwing it around corners and going around corners. It's so easy to lean and go through it effortlessly and seamlessly. So you are going faster, but just not in a straight line. This bike is gonna be a lot of fun to ride through twisties and corners. Well, now let's go ahead and take a look at some of its features. Looking at the front of the bike, this has the same fairing and same body style as the V4's, just a little narrower. I love those mirrors. They have the turn signals integrated within them. And those DRLs, man, they make the bike look mad, like it's always mad. The braking power for this bike is provided by dual 320mm discs with the Brembo brakes. This has inverted front forks. What this does is it aids in handling and throwing it around. So
complement that, this bike has a 24-degree rake angle. What's the rake angle, you ask? Well, draw a perpendicular from the steering mount, follow the fork tube. That angle is your rake angle. Shorter the rake angle, the more nimble the bike is, and larger the rake angle, the more stable it is at higher speeds and highway speeds and such. Checking out the side, oh man, just look at the side profile. It says Panigale V2, Ducati on the top, and as you can see, there's a little red insert there, red insert in the eyes, goes with the red wheels. I love this design. For the back, it's got the single-sided swing arm, so you get the naked wheel, makes it look pretty. If you look closely there, that's the pipe for your exhaust that goes right underneath your seats. That makes for an interesting ride. Heats up at times. You got LED lights here. That's your running light. The brake light goes down there. Those are the turn signals with the NRC tail tidy kit. And there are cutouts here to let air flow through, so you make it aerodynamic. On the side we have our single-sided swing arm, chain drive, fully adjustable rear shock. More of the beautiful lines and the beautiful design. I love it.
This bike does not have keyless ignition. You get the Ducati key. It says Ducati on both sides. Turn it on. And boom. I love how the lights come on. These are your fully adjustable Showa shocks up front. Clip-on handlebars. A steering dampener or steering stabilizer. There you have your 4.3 inches TFT screen. As for your handlebar controls, you have your passing lights, high beam, low beam. That's to toggle through the menu, turn signals, and going into the settings menu, and the horn. On your right hand side, you have the kill switch and the starter button, DRLs, and hazard lights. Now looking closer at the TFT screen, you get a bunch of information. You have these two columns of lights on either side. On the left hand side you get neutral, ABS, left turn signal, and high beams. On the right you get right turn signal, DRL, traction control, and engine oil. And on the top you have those lights that are your shift lights, and you have your check engine and a low fuel indicator. In the middle you get engine temperature, time, what gear you're on, your tachometer, and you get those 5 options there for your engine braking, quick shifter, traction control, ABS, and wheelie control. You have a light there, it says my service is due. I'm due for my braking service. You have a side stand light, your speedometer. There are other menu options that you can toggle. You have a trip 1, average consumption, average speed, trip time, outside temperature, trip 2, and consumption. And then you get to your settings menu. Go to the settings and you have a bunch of options here. You have riding modes, pin code, lap timer, backlight, date clock, units, service, tire calibration, DRL, and turn indicators, and info. So you'd use a tire calibration if you were to go with a tire that's not stock or OEM. You can calibrate your tires. Service tells you when the services are due, change your units and all that fun stuff. I want to show you guys the riding modes. So once you go into the riding modes, you have 3 riding modes. You have street, sport, and race. And for each of these modes, you can customize your engine performance, your traction control, ABS, wheelie control, engine braking, your quick shifter. Pretty cool. And each of them look very cool. So once you click on engine, it gives you this little icon here, and you can select your engine performance, high, medium, or low. And depending upon what you choose, it'll change. If you want it at high, it'll say full power and dynamic. Medium is full power and smooth. Low would be reduced power and smooth. Then you go back. Same for your traction control. It has a bunch of settings, and as you toggle through it, it'll tell you what it's good for. And when you go into wheelie control, it even has this little icon which says it's gonna keep the front wheel down. So however you want to customize it. Well, now that we've looked around the bike, seen some of its cool features, do you guys know what time it is? It's right o'clock. Let's go. If you're new to Bhroman, hit that subscribe button. We put out content every week, and your support would mean a lot. Alright, so let's start off our ride with our first test. Let's make a couple of U-turns and see how this puppy maneuvers.
short wheelbase, 24-degree rake angle, those 440 pounds curb weight, all combined together to make this bike handle really well. Now it's time for a second test, the pull test. I have it in race mode, so let's go. Oh boy, this thing can move. This thing can move for sure. Stupid fun. Well, let's see how good this is around a few corners, shall we? Fun around corners and quite fun in a straight line too. And check this out, the balance on this bike is amazing. Super amazing, you guys. It's super amazing. Oh well, what else would you expect from a Ducati, right? Well, so first impressions of this bike. This has the seating position is that of being tucked in. It's not as tucked in as aggressively as you would have on some leader bikes and such, but you kind of are. You have clip-ons here, so you have to reach out for them a little bit. You are stretched over the fuel tank, but like in most leader bikes or super sports, like your clip-ons would be a few inches below, so you would have to reach down a little more. Not on this one. Let's check out the brakes. Front brakes only, and oh, nice bite. Oh my god, yep. See, I'm stopped at a red light. I'm 5'10", 31-inch inseam. I can flat-foot it easily, no problemo. No problemo at all. And as you can see, the bike is staying up straight, perfectly balanced. No problemo. Love that V-twin sound. And see, this has that Ducati quick shift, so you can do clutchless shift. Oh, and it's just so smooth. It's not clunky or anything, it just goes. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Left hand, second gear, third gear. Aha! Let's turn around this guy. And this bike just loves to lean. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the seating position, although you're tucked in, this is one of the most comfortable seats that I've ridden on. The seat is quite soft and squishy. Doesn't hurt your butt or your crown jewels, family jewels, whatever. It does. Your feet are not uncomfortable. I'm not like crunched up uncomfortably. And again, like you know, with all sports bikes, you're not supposed to put all the weight on the handlebars. You're supposed to hold the bike with your legs, with your knees, squeeze them there, and keep your hands like loosey-goosey, so you can flick them around and do whatever you want to do with it. Now, as for the heat, you know, the exhaust goes right below the seat. So like in slower speeds and lower speeds, you can see it's the engine speed, the engine heat is about 208 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, I can feel the heat. Now, the simple way to get rid of the heat is just ride a little faster. Also, you can get what do you call them? You can get like heat shields and stuff. Those help. Now, is this a bike that you can use for commuting? Sure you can. Now, this does not have storage space of any sort. There is a teeny tiny compartment under your rear seat where you can stash your registration and stuff like that, but there is not much of storage space anywhere. So if you plan on carrying a backpack, sure, this could be great for commuting. Um, just make sure you're not stuck in traffic, because this thing tends to heat up quite a bit. But you'd get used to it. It'll put a stupid grin on your face though, so there's that. Now, could you use this for long distance touring? Well, this is not a touring motorcycle, so no, this is not a bike you want to use for touring long distances. I've done a couple of 100 miles, and it seems to hold up quite well for that. Your body's not, I mean, your butt's not tired or nothing, so you can do some touring, but I don't know, I avoid the highways when I'm on any bike unless I have to. So I haven't done a lot of highway riding on this bike, but if you take the back, I've taken the back roads, and yeah, it's not bad for a couple of 100 miles. So yeah, you could do a little bit of touring, not a lot, I guess. Now, is this a good bike for beginners? No. And here are the reasons why. It's a Ducati. I would not recommend a Ducati, any Ducati, for a beginner, someone who's brand new to motorcycling. Nope. This costs about $19,000 out of the door. Puts out 155 horses, does 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds. Insurance is stupidly high for this. So when you combine all of those facts together, yeah, not at all a good beginner bike. No siree. This is a good bike for someone who has some amount of riding experience, wants to get into a Ducati, and like for me, I was really fascinated by the V4, but before I shelled out V4 kind of money, I wanted to make sure that I kind of dig it, and hence the V2, and so far I freaking dig it. Well, so let's head back to the punk. I know he's excited about this being our 50th episode and whatnot, so let's head back to the punk and wrap up this video.
50 episodes. Awesome, right? Special shout out to our friends Monty Hendricks and Indian Motorcycle Greensboro, the Professor Gennaro and Motorcycles of Greensboro, our friends at Triangle Lone Wolves, our friends at Lunar Lens, and everybody who's part of the Bhroman fam, our viewers, our subscribers, everybody. You guys made this possible, and thank you so much. Okay, so let's talk about the cost of ownership for the Ducati Panigale V2. This requires a service every 6,000 miles or 1 year, whichever comes first, and it requires that first break-in service at 621 miles. And the tires on this bike should get you about 8,000 miles. A lot of it would depend upon how you ride it. So over a 2-year period, assuming you ride 5,000 miles a year, you would need 3 services and a set of new tires. Each service costs about $450, and the set of new tires costs about $600. So that's a total of $1,950. Divided by the number of days, it's about $2.70 a day. Let's assign it a score, shall we? On the looks, it's a 9 out of 10. On the Braap, it's an 8 out of 10. On the maintenance, it's a 7.5 out of 10. And on the comfort, it's a 7.5 out of 10. For a combined Bhromance score of 8 out of 10. The Ducati Panigale V2. Man, it looks amazing. It sounds amazing. I love the twin engine sound. It's much more comfortable than your regular sports bike or your performance bike. But it packs a punch. It's so much fun to ride, especially around twisties and corners. I mean, it's no slouch in a straight line, but it really comes to life around corners. Is this the bike for you? Well, head on down to your closest Ducati dealership and check it out for yourself. Thanks for watching. Bro out.